カウンターで今度は右
女子のアマチュアでこれ以上ない。
そうインローから今右が来ました。
Imagine a fighter who uses kicks the way most fighters throw jabs. Lightning fast, relentless, unpredictable. Now imagine those kicks are powerful enough to end fights. Meet Mona Kimura, the Japanese kickboxer who's rewriting the rulebook on striking. 3 fights, 3 victories, 0 losses, and a weapon so devastating that opponents can't figure out how to defend it. She's been called the real-life Chun Li, a video game character brought to life in the ring. But here's what makes her truly dangerous. Everyone knows what's coming, and they still can't stop it. So how does a smiling, positive 24-year-old woman turn her legs into precision weapons? What's the secret behind her undefeated record? And can anyone actually solve the puzzle she's created? Stay with me, because the technique Mona has mastered isn't just perfect. It's revolutionary, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why she might be the future of women's kickboxing. Let's start with what makes Mona Kimura so fascinating. When you look at her social media, you see a cheerful young woman, smiling photos, positive energy. She cosplays as Chun Li from Street Fighter, fully embracing the comparison fans have given her. You'd never guess that this same person can systematically destroy opponents in the ring, that she can turn faces into bloody messes with surgical precision, that she possesses one of the most dangerous striking arsenals in women's combat sports. That contradiction is part of her power. Born on April 12, 2001, in Mizuho, Gifu, Japan, Mona didn't start with kicks. She started with her hands. From 4th grade through university, she dedicated herself to boxing. Pure boxing, no kicks, no elbows, just the sweet science. And she wasn't just training, she was excelling. By 18 years old, Mona became the Japanese national champion in boxing. In 2022, she represented Japan at the Women's World Boxing Championship. This wasn't a hobby. This was elite-level competition. So why would someone with that kind of boxing pedigree switch to kickboxing? A more brutal sport, more weapons to defend against, more ways to get hurt. The answer lies in what she saw as an opportunity. In boxing, her hands were her only weapons. In kickboxing, she could keep those championship-level hands and add something nobody expected, something that would change everything: her legs. But here's where the story gets interesting. Mona's leg development didn't start in a gym. It started in childhood. Her parents, for reasons that now seem prophetic, made her practice standing on one leg for extended periods. Balance training, stability work, building the foundation for something neither they nor Mona could have predicted. That childhood training created superhuman balance, the ability to throw powerful kicks while maintaining perfect stability, the capacity to hop around the ring on one leg like it's nothing. When Mona signed with Crush Promotion and entered professional kickboxing, she brought a unique combination: championship boxing skills and legs trained from childhood to be weapons. The result? An undefeated fighter who makes opponents look helpless. Let's talk about what actually makes Mona's technique so devastating, because it's not just about kicking. Everyone kicks in kickboxing. What Mona does is fundamentally different. She uses her legs like jabs. Think about that for a second. In traditional striking, jabs are quick, repeated hand strikes that set up everything else. They control distance. They disrupt rhythm. They create openings. But they come from your hands because hands are fast. Mona throws leg strikes with the speed, frequency, and precision of jabs. Her legs function as extended arms. She can fire off kicks as quickly as most fighters throw punches. And because legs are longer and more powerful than arms, the effect is devastating. Imagine trying to close distance on an opponent whose jab has 3 times the reach of yours and hits twice as hard. You can't get close. You can't establish your own rhythm. You're constantly defending, never attacking. That's the Mona Kimura experience for her opponents. Her kicks serve multiple purposes simultaneously. They keep opponents at distance, acting like a spear that prevents anyone from getting close. They deal damage with every landed strike, both to the body and head. They create psychological pressure because opponents never know when the next one is coming, and they tire out defenders who have to constantly check, block, and move. But here's the genius of her system. When opponents finally figure out how to get past the kicks, they run straight into championship-level boxing. Mona spent years developing elite hand skills, sharp jabs, powerful hooks, precise timing. When fighters manage to close the distance, thinking they've solved the puzzle, they discover a completely different nightmare waiting for them. She's what you'd call a complete striker. Long range, the kicks destroy you. Mid-range, the kicks are still there but now combined with punches. Close range, pure boxing dominance. There's no safe distance. There's no gap in her game. She controls every range of combat, and the psychological effect can't be overstated. When you face Mona, you're not just fighting techniques. You're fighting the knowledge that she can hurt you from anywhere, at any time, with any weapon. Her leg literally looks like a snake preparing to strike. Opponents freeze. They hesitate. They make mistakes. And in combat sports, hesitation gets you knocked out. Theory is one thing. Let's see how this actually plays out in real fights. Fight 1, November 16th, 2024, versus Ogawara Mona's professional kickboxing debut. Everyone expected the leg kicks to dominate. Instead, Mona opened with boxing, sharp jabs, hand combinations, immediately establishing that she wasn't one-dimensional. The first time she loaded up a big kick, her opponent caught it and Mona went down. Most fighters would panic. Mona? She hopped around on one leg like it was a training drill. That childhood balance work paying dividends. Then the striking clinic began. Ogawara landed some shots, but Mona responded with a devastating left straight that put her opponent on the canvas. First knockdown, the message was sent. When Ogawara tried to clinch her way to safety, Mona simply pushed her off, sending her to the ground again. Not from a strike, just from raw strength and positioning. The finish came from boxing. Ogawara rushed in and ran directly into a right hook that shut the lights off. Spectacular knockout. And afterwards, Mona was smiling like she'd just finished a light sparring session. Fight 2, January 26th, 2025 versus Yuka. This is where the world got to see full Chun Li mode. From the opening bell, Mona's legs became weapons of mass destruction. High kicks, body kicks, rapid-fire combinations that looked exactly like the video game character she's compared to. The Chun Li comparison isn't just about appearance, it's about fighting style. Yuka had no answer. Every time she tried to move forward, another kick landed. To the body, to the head. Precision strikes that prevented any offense. And when Yuka finally managed to land a punch, Mona made her pay immediately with combinations that showcased years of boxing experience. The frustration on Yuka's face was visible. She was being outclassed at every range. The body kicks were especially brutal. One sent Yuka to the canvas, and Mona celebrated with a fighting game character gesture, fully leaning into her persona. Between rounds, the contrast was stark. Mona looked calm, cheerful, completely in control. Yuka looked angry and defeated, knowing she was losing badly. The third round was total dominance. Everything Mona threw landed. Jabs, kicks, combinations. Yuka survived all 3 rounds but was completely demoralized. Unanimous decision victory for Mona, and it wasn't even close. Fight 3, June 27th, 2025 versus Satoko Ozawa. This fight answered the question everyone was asking. Can Mona be predicted? If everyone knows the kicks are coming, can they be stopped? The answer was a brutal no. Mona opened with her signature high kick, then immediately switched to boxing. Sharp jabs, devastating hooks. Satoko looked confused from the start, unable to figure out what was coming next. The beating that followed was systematic and brutal. Mona's jabs found home repeatedly. Her kicks continued to land at will, and Satoko's face began pouring blood. A double jab followed by a high kick dropped Satoko to the canvas. She got up, but probably shouldn't have. The punishment continued until her face looked like, and I'm quoting the broadcast here, a smashed tomato. The referee had to stop the fight multiple times just to clean the blood. When it was clear Satoko was taking too much damage and couldn't defend herself, the referee showed mercy and stopped the fight. TKO victory for Mona. Dominant. Brutal. And proving that knowing what's coming doesn't help if you can't stop it. Here's what makes Mona Kimura truly special beyond just technique. She adapts. After her first 2 fights where kicks dominated, Analysts predicted she'd become easy to game plan against. Focus on defending kicks, they said. Take away her primary weapon. Fight 3 proved them completely wrong. Mona showed her boxing was just as dangerous. She proved she could win multiple ways. She demonstrated that the real threat isn't one specific technique. It's her ability to read situations and use whatever tool the fight requires. That's the mark of a special fighter. Not someone who does one thing great, but someone who can do everything at an elite level and knows when to use each weapon. At just 24 years old, Mona is entering her physical prime. 3 fights might seem like a small sample size, but the level of dominance she's shown is remarkable. She hasn't just won. She's made experienced fighters look helpless. The comparison to Chun Li isn't just marketing, it's accurate. Rapid-fire kicks delivered with precision, a diverse striking arsenal, the ability to control distance and tempo. These are video game boss characteristics brought to life. But unlike a video game boss, there's no pattern to memorize, no exploit to discover. Mona evolves fight to fight, adding new wrinkles and adjusting her approach. So what's next for her? Right now, she's building a reputation in KRUSH promotion. 3 wins, 3 statements made. The question is how far the competition can push her, because so far, nobody has made her uncomfortable in a fight. Can someone solve the puzzle? Can an opponent figure out how to neutralize both the kicks and the boxing? Can anyone handle the constant psychological pressure of facing someone who can hurt you from anywhere? The smart money says no. Not yet. Mona's still in the early stages of her career, still improving, still adding to her already impressive arsenal. If she continues on this trajectory, we're watching the early chapters of a potential legend, a fighter who might dominate women's kickboxing for years to come, a complete striker who has mastered the perfect weapon and knows exactly how to use it. The smiling, cheerful girl who cosplays as Chun Li. She's also a precision violence machine who systematically breaks down opponents. And that contradiction is what makes her so captivating. So let's answer the question posed at the start. How has Mona Kimura mastered the perfect move to win every fight? It's not just the kicks, though those are spectacular. It's not just the boxing, though those skills are championship level. The perfect move is the combination. The system she's created where every technique supports every other technique. The kicks keep you at distance until you figure them out. Then the boxing punishes you for getting close. If you defend the boxing, the kicks return with a vengeance. It's a perpetual puzzle with no solution. Add in her childhood balance training that allows superhuman stability. Mix in years of boxing experience that created elite hand skills. Combine it with the natural power and reach advantage that kicks provide. Then add an evolving fight IQ that adapts to every opponent. That's the recipe. That's the perfect move. It's not one technique. It's a complete striking system where everything flows together seamlessly, where every weapon enhances every other weapon, where opponents are always defending and never attacking. Mona Kimura has created something special, a fighting style that's both beautiful and brutal, technical and devastating, predictable yet impossible to stop. And she's only just getting started. 3 fights, 3 victories, 3 performances that have announced the arrival of something special in women's kickboxing. Mona Kimura isn't just winning. She's dominating in a way that suggests a long reign ahead. The real-life Chun Li is writing her own story, and every chapter so far has ended the same way. With her hand raised and her opponents wondering what just happened. The legs that work like jabs. The boxing that punishes anyone who gets close. The balance that seems superhuman. The cheerful personality that contrasts with brutal efficiency in the ring. This is Mona Kimura, the girl who turned her legs into the perfect weapon. And based on everything we've seen, nobody has figured out how to stop her. The question isn't if she'll win her next fight, it's how dominant she'll be and which weapon she'll use to do it. So what do you think? Can anyone solve the Mona Kimura puzzle? Is there a fighter out there with the skills to neutralize both her kicks and her boxing? Or are we watching the early stages of a dominant champion? Drop your predictions in the comments below. Who should she fight next? Can her fighting style work against elite-level competition? And is she really the next big star in women's kickboxing? If you enjoyed this breakdown of Mona's perfect technique, hit that like button and subscribe for more combat sports analysis. We break down the fighters, the techniques, and the stories that make combat sports so compelling. Thanks for watching.